Hey fellas. Fully charged battery. Emptied a lot of space out on the memory card. All's well and good, right? So, I started sifting through Zendikar today. I couldn't remember if I told anyone I'd make other sets priorities at this point in time. So, I just grabbed something I had handy and started in on it. Sorted through this box and that fat pack. I still got a lint box right here. So I'm sorting through it. This is probably gonna last me part ways through tomorrow too. Yay. So anyway, talking about Zendikar block. There are lots of things we could talk about in Zendikar block that I don't really want to, like the Eldrazi. I'm gonna mention them anyway. What the hell? The Annihilator mechanic was nasty. Having colorless creatures was interesting. The fact that a lot of them were really high on the mana curve, and people just found ways to cheat them out or power them out fast. It just didn't do anything for me. I mean, I'm not amongst the people who irrationally hate them and say they're Egyptian gods and start drawing lines to Yu-Gi-Oh and whatnot. You know, I don't care. It's like, if you want to hate Yu-Gi-Oh, that's fine. Hate Yu-Gi-Oh. Shut the hay up. I don't want to hear it. Talk to somebody else about it. I don't care enough about Yu-Gi-Oh to even hear about how much you hate it. That's how much I care, or rather don't care, about Yu-Gi-Oh. Bada bing, bada bang, bada boom. So, the level up mechanic. I liked it. It was interesting stuff. Once again, you had people complaining about it. Oh, it feels so this, that, the other thing, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, yep, okay, sure. Whatever, guy. It was an interesting thing. You know, you'd start off with a modest creature, like here we've got 2 colors and a black for a 3/2. That levels up for 2 colors and a black and becomes Death Touch at levels 1 and 2. And at level 3 and higher, it's First Strike and Death Touch. And of course, you know, each bracket gets an additional +1/+1. It's kid science, fun stuff. Actually, one could make an argument for the old Homerids being automatic levelers, because you'd put counters on them, and based on the number of counters, they were either their base power toughness or 1 lower or 1 higher. But I said you could make an argument for it. I didn't say it was an exact analogy, but that's alright. Brimstone Mage, liked him. He was hard to get your paws on in draft. Very hard, actually. People snapped him up. And I can't say I blame him either, because he's nasty. Mostly I draft these days, so my collection is really kind of eclectic on this. Knight of Cliffhaven, he was awesome. At least in draft. Yeah, he levels up to a Sarah Angel. Hello. Most of the cards I have set aside are... well, not most, but I think a fair portion from Rise. Oh well. Kiln Fiend. He actually sees some semi-competitive play. He's pretty nice. I like him. Still even good in draft. I haven't read it. Iona's Judgment. I don't think I'd ever play it and construct it, but it's a great piece of removal in draft. I mean, people look at it and say, wait, it's 5 mana. It's not even a sorcerer. It's not even an instant. What the hey? I look at it and I see, yeah, it's 5 mana, but it only requires 1 mana of a specific color, so it's easily splashed. And exile, not even in the graveyard, so there's no way to recur it. Not that graveyard recursion is terrifyingly easy to get in drafts, but when you can get your hands on it, it's nasty. And it also takes out creatures or enchantments, which is kind of interesting. I like it. Well, on that subject, there was something else I didn't put any aside, but the Zendikar enchantments, each color, which would turn, it was it was an enchantment aura, it only hits lands, and the enchanted land becomes creature appropriate to the color, and if that land goes to the it goes to the graveyard from play, I believe you return the land to your hand. Or was it the enchantment? I can't remember. I really can't. But, yeah, Iona's Judgment was nice for that because nothing's going to the graveyard. Well, at least not the creature at any rate. So, same goes. Okay, I love you. Bye-bye. Razor Boomerang. Really, Watsy? Really, this thing was so bad. Just bad. It was useless in draft. That's how bad it was. It was an uncommon of all things. I mean, really, guys, what's going on? One of the things that he tried to do, especially in Rise, was make creatures with Defender and walls a larger presence, something worthwhile to use, and heavens forbid, some of them actually were. Vent Sentinel's a nice little guy. Yeah, he's a 2/4 with Defender. Pump some mana and tap him, and he deals damage to target player equal to the number of creatures with Defender you control. My big complaint about the Vent Sentinel is he's an elemental and not a wall. So he won't fit in my wall deck. Yes, I have a wall tribal deck. Well, it's not actually completely tribal. I do have 2 non-wall creatures in the deck, but they're only there because they make wall tokens. Yeah. Maybe I should see about pulling them out. They're not all. They rarely come in all that useful anyway. Should probably pull them out. Tuk Tuk the Explorer. I liked him. He was fun in drafts. Basically, he was 2 colorless and a red for a 1/1 creature that your opponent did not want to block. You just sit there and say, "Go ahead, block him." No, really, block him, kill him. See if I care. I'll get a 5/5. Nice stuff. Battle Rattle Shaman, you know, I didn't realize how good he was until I saw someone using him against me. So that's a card I underestimated at first. Frostwind Invokers, the blue and white Invokers were actually pretty decent, especially in draft. Especially the white one. The Dawnglare Invoker was really nuts. I mean, you're talking about 3 mana for a 2/1 flyer. In and of itself, that's not bad. Especially in draft. His Invoker ability of pumping 8 mana to tap all creatures target player controls, that's just nutty. So it's like you get him early, you can start laying out some airborne beats with him. When your mana curve starts topping out, you can just look at what your opponent has on. You can just, you know, sit there and say, okay, go. Hey, turn your upkeep, tap all your dudes. My turn. Swing with the team. You still alive? Okay, cool, go. Turn your upkeep, tap all your dudes. Good science, fun stuff. Walking Atlas, I put him aside to talk about for a moment, just be on account of the fact that if not for some errata that was mentioned on him, the errata was there as soon as he came out because there was a printer's error on him. They left the word artifact off of his type line. So he came very close to being the first non-colored creature card in the game. So close. And yet so far. Elemental Appeal, one of the things we saw in Zendikar block was Kicker making a comeback. A lot of cards with Kicker. It was an interesting idea, interesting mechanic. And I loved what they did with it in Worldwake. You got multi-Kicker. That's nice. You know, you can pay the Kicker multiple times to get their Kicker effect over and over again. We had the various Ascension and Shrine enchantments, where, you know, if event X happens, you put a counter on it. When you have X number of counters on it, you can do crazy thing Y. I know Pyromancer's Ascension has seen some competitive play. I think Ascension decks are like tier 2 these days, maybe tier 3. I don't know. I use the White Ascension, Angelic Ascension, whatever the heck it's called. I use it in a red-white control deck with Winter Orbs in it and Icy Manipulators. I'm very unhappy about the removal of the old school errata on Winter Orb. I'll talk about that real briefly right now since I'm thinking of it. What it was is, before 6th edition hit the scene, there was this lovely rule that said artifacts that generate a continuous effect deactivate when they become tapped. So, you know, the old way of working with Winter Orb, most popular way, was to find some way to tap it down, like with Icy Manipulator. So that way, you know, end of your opponent's turn, you tap your Winter Orb, then on your turn you untap all your stuff and your Winter Orb. For those who don't know, Winter Orb is a 2-colorless artifact. Players may not untap more than 1 land during their untap. So being able to lock down your opponent's land was evil and nasty and fun. And what happened is recently the rules guys down at Wizards decided that they don't want it to work that way anymore, because the card should work the way that it's printed. And what I don't know, I think the better solution would have been to reprint Winter Orb, because the last time it was printed, I want to say it was either revised or 4th edition. I can't remember which. Coffee. But anyways, I'm very unhappy about it, and I'm looking at pulling the Winter Orbs out of that deck for static orbs, because it's not a deck with a low mana curve. It really isn't. But, you know, it is what it is. I'm still not happy about it. I sent a very, very angry and comically worded letter to the rules guy at WotC, and he said it was one of the. I believe he said it was the funniest thing he'd ever been sent. And I appreciate that, but I don't know. I don't know. Oh well. Oh well. So anyways, yeah. Yeah, right after 6th edition rules came out, they shortly afterwards issued a RADA for Winter Orb saying, yeah, it still works the old way, because they came to the conclusion, number one, that's not how Winter Orb, you know, when they got rid of that rule, they basically sat there saying, yeah, we just gutted with half the Winter Orb decks out there, so they threw a bone to the people that were running Winter Orb decks and said, yeah, it still works that way. And I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. Oh well. What else do we have going on? We had the trap cards. You have a card with an effect, mana cost that might even be a little bit higher than it should be, but on a certain but conditionally, the mana cost goes through the floor. Conditionally. We had the allies. Basically, was the ally create whenever all the allies basically had an ability that went off anytime anytime itself or another ally came onto play. It was an interesting idea. It was some people like to call it synergy for dummies, kind of like the slivers, but I'm not gonna sit there and say it's a bad thing. There are a lot of decent casual ally decks out there. I've got a blue-white ally deck put together, and I'll be perfectly honest, I'm not terrifyingly fond of it. I don't think I like it. I should probably just take it apart. Especially seeing as how I've got better use for like the 2 most powerful cards in there, which are both copies of Jace the Mind Sculptor. Yeah. That was nice. I picked one up in a draft, and I got the other in a fat pack. Ain't that cute? Anyway, what else we got? Trusty Machete. See, now, Trusty Machete is one of those cards that I didn't undervalue. I like equipment. I'm a big user of equipment in limited environments. And 1 colorless, equipped creature gets +2/+1, equips for 2 colorless. Now, here's the whole thing with that, is I've heard a lot of people say, when you open a pack, just take the rare, for draft, just take the rare, it's the most powerful card in there. And there have been numerous times I've said, that is some of the worst advice I've ever heard someone give. And it's true. There are a lot of rares that are just plain bad, number one. And number two, there are a lot of rares that, even if they're good, they're horrible in draft. I mean, just horrible. I mean, we're talking incredibad. But, yeah, I remember there was one draft where I opened up the pack, and inside was a Halo Hunter, a foil rare Sphinx that was like some sort of huge flyer or something crazy like that. Was it Jawar Isle? I can't remember. But yeah, and I was looking at both of those, and I took a rusty machete. I took a rusty machete over both of those, and I ended up playing blue-black in that deck too, and I did very well with it. I think I came in first that week, and the whole point is that, you know, the best card is not necessarily your rare, and Trusty Machete is a bloody beat stick. They might as well, you know, if I were to commission new art for Trusty Machete, I'd have it dripping with blood, and the new flavor text would be, "This is a beat stick." I don't care if it's got a point to it, if it's got an edge, it's a beat stick. But, it's what it is. Alrighty, I'm gonna finish filing this stuff away and do the other boxes Zendikar tomorrow. If I don't feel I have anything to talk about with that second box of Zendikar, then, well, that last box of Zendikar, if I don't feel I have anything to talk about, then tomorrow's update's gonna be really short now, ain't it, folks? Alright, be good, fellas. Have a good night.